What's going on, everyone? In this video, we're going to be doing the weekly recap of the stocked up trading floor. The market has continued to crush it and get closer and closer to new all-time highs last week. But on Friday in after hours, we did get a Moody's credit rating downgrade out of nowhere, which definitely brought in quite a bit of selling pressure. So this week will definitely be pretty action-packed. But besides that, let's jump right into this week's recap. Starting off with the high-risk scalps, we can see on Monday, pretty nice action. Sound and Affirm definitely led the way as they had options that moved up by 330% and 245%. Of course, and as always though, there were, inevitably stocks that didn't do as well as these ones, like FSLR, CRWV, Meta, and others. Shop, Nike, and CVS were definitely more of like the duds of the group. They moved up a little bit, but basically not enough to really justify the risk. So really CoreWeave, Meta, and FSLR had some decent action, while Sound and Affirm truly led the way. Tuesday was actually the best day of the week as UNH went absolutely insane, as we know, as well as a handful of other tickers, honestly. Looking at the end of day recap, SMCI technically led the way as its options popped up by 540%. UNH definitely had some of the most spotlight as it had options pop up by 356%, but there was just a ton of great action all around. There were so many stocks that had, nice moves, whether it be Palantir, AVGO, Coinbase, Nvidia, ACHR, App, Hood, Hims, Netflix, Boeing, and others. So definitely a very good day of the week. I would say Tuesday was definitely the best. Scrolling on throughout the week, we could see on Wednesday, RGTI and Oklo had some decent action, and I would say it was definitely a less intense day, comparatively speaking, especially. Continuing on, as we can see, on Thursday, Affirm and Coinbase had some decent action. Reddit had some decent action as well, and then the rest were, I would say, pretty much duds. And then closing out the week, we can see that CRWV, QUBT, and Coinbase all had good moves. Archer had some decent moves, and the rest were duds. But overall, pretty good week. As we know, opportunities not distributed equally. Not only, I guess you could say, in this sense, where there was so much opportunity on Tuesday, but you can see that most of the opportunities, as you'd expect, concentrated into, a few amount of tickers. Is the same thing can be said just while looking at the S&P 500 as a whole. So overall, pretty good week. And as we know, we have a lot of new updates that just came out as well, which will be very exciting. And I'm definitely excited for that this week. Shifting over into the theta plays. All 5 of them expired for max profit, which is great to see and is expected given how bullish the market has been. Of course, this won't always happen, but it's certainly a nice thing to see. If you've never shorted put options before, definitely consider looking into it. It's a great strategy to use, especially over the long term for multiple reasons. Not only do you get exposure to stocks that you're happy to own at prices you're happy to own them at, time decay also works in your favor. It's a very capital efficient strategy, and you have an edge by selling options that are slightly more expensive than they theoretically should be, and the returns are pretty good as well. They're not as crazy as potential 300% day trades, but it's definitely a strategy to look into if you haven't already. This is called shorting put options, writing put options, or selling puts. So definitely check that out. As always, if you need any help, feel free to reach out to Tom, Hunter, Mason, or myself in SM Chat, and we'll definitely make sure you're taken care of. But besides that, thank you all so much for tuning into the recap. Have a great rest of your weekend, and let's crush it in the market this week.